So help me welcome Dr. Terri-Karelle Reid, Kandi King, and Mr. Phillip. You guys okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Mic check.
Check 1, 2.
Yes, everyone's hearing?
Hello.
All right, so we are gonna kick things off with Kandi. Director at Jamaica International. Kandi, let me start by just asking, how do you determine your competition in the industry?
Doing research, I guess, is really the way that I've discovered my competition. Also, you know,
So ironic,
keep
right?
your friends close and your enemies close. No, I'm just kidding. I guess just do your research. Google is your friend, social media is your friend. Pay attention to everything. Any company that has a similar vision to yours is your competition. So for me, it's just really, especially, I guess in today's world where everything is social media driven and everybody's advertising on social media, so really just pay attention.
Okay. Is it a good thing though to have competition? Anyone can.
Yes, of course. It's a good thing to have competition. I'll speak directly about our industry, or the industry that I'm in, which is Carnival. You guys would have remembered that there was one band, a couple years ago, and basically if it's only one person, they have the monopoly and nobody has a choice. The minute that the industry grew and we had competition, then the amount of people coming to Jamaica also expanded. So for us, competition has really grown our industry, and it can do the same for you guys too, depending on what you're doing. But the biggest thing for me and competition is that it will grow the industry. Also, I guess it will develop some brand loyalty as well, because you know that the people that are with you are because they chose you. So there's a good opportunity for you to build some brand loyalty as well.
In addition to that, Kandi, I'd say that competition brings about noise. Noise is what creates hype. So, as Kandi brought up, 3 years ago, there was only Bacchanal. And I think we only had maximum 3,000 persons on the road. In the following year, with the emergence of Exodus and Jamaica, and I think there was the first year was another band, Jamaica Carnival came back. What had happened was noise, and noise creates hype. So all of a sudden, everybody in Trinidad was like, what the hell is happening in Jamaica? In New York, what's going on? No, I have to see this. Which band they playing with? And at the end of the day, it now has swollen to what? Over about 12,000 persons on the road, that first season, right? Obviously, Exodus was the biggest and best, but, you know, but on a whole, as Kandi said, I'm joking, I'm not, but overall, as Kandi said, the country won, and when there's competition, the consumer wins.
Right.
I think for me, competition benefits both the creator or the creative as well as the consumer. I think whenever it comes to good, healthy competition, because I think even when we speak about competition, we really need to ask ourselves, how do you define competition? There's collaborative competition. In this case, I think it is collaborative, and then you have a competition that I think is unhealthy, that can be cancerous and unhealthy. Right. Certainly, when you have more competition, there is more options. Usually, it is a challenge, it's an inspiration to always come up with better, being more, doing more. And when they do that as creatives, or when you do that as creatives, who benefits? The consumer. Because now I can walk down an aisle and I can choose, and I can pick and choose based on the quality, the cost, or whatever your competitive advantage might be.
Or probably just what you really want and you enjoy.
Exactly.
So, is it important to support your competition in any way possible? I don't know if it is possible. I don't know how
I kind of feel like people should take this question just because. Well, let me tell you why.
I always look here, but
that's not what I'm talking about. But I think I can use Dream as an example, because they were a group of independent promoters who decided to come together and support each other, and they have created something much stronger together than they could have apart. So perhaps you could speak on how you guys came together and built this empire by supporting each other.
Thank you for bringing that one up. But on a whole, there's competition even in Dream, because although we do have Dream weekend together, around the year we have similar events. We have events that we are all competing for pockets, right? At the end of the day, we know we have to be mature. We know there's one goal, and at the end of the day, I mean, we all have egos. Ego drives ambition. So every good promoter has a big ego. But at the end of the day, I think it was Solomon Sharp who is like the godfather for us. He said, guys, we're going to do big things, but leave your ego at the door. And that was the key. That is how the dream was born. But overall, I think it is important that you should not only support your competition, but you need to go to the events. You need to see what Kandi is doing. You understand? You need to go and say, oh God, you look over there, Jamaica may have 50 flags on the road, beer flag. How are you going to beat that? You'll just have 50 supermodels from across the globe. Right? No, but on a serious, I mean, Kandi, we get along well. But she's a very worthy adversary. She works hard, and competition makes you lift the game, you step the game up. I'll just go back to another example. Guys, you ever notice that there will be a weekend and it's just one party keeping on the Saturday, and it's like 500 people there. And you have another weekend that there's 4 events and every party is packed. And that is what competition does. Competition again brings noise, noise drives hype. And remember, people don't go to your event because you're a nice guy. They'll show their face, but they'll not come back. You have to create a hand. And that's what competition is.
And I'd like to add to that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add is, I also think that as creatives, you just have to be honest. You have to be authentically you. Not all of us are going to be strong in all areas. And I think Dr. Lekam Samaj touched on it. And sometimes you may have somebody who has a similar blueprint to you, but they are stronger in an area than you are. But yet still you might be the puzzle over here, although you have similar blueprints and you are much stronger than they are. I do believe that there are enormous possibilities where competitors can actually come together, pulling on the strengths of each other, get a particular project or vision or objective or goal done, and then you can say, it was awesome working with you. It did not take away from you, it did not take away from me, and we can go about our business. So I think that is also very important.
As you touched on that, I have a question here. Right, it says, have you ever seen a competing brand execute an idea or a similar plan like yours? And if you had, if yes, how do you adjust or address that? So you adjust it, address it, how do you go about it?
Nobody heard of competing products tonight, that's interesting.
Clearly not. No, but in answering that question, it happens all the time. It's something that we're playing with. You spend a lot of time, you come up with a great concept, you do your research, and then somebody just comes to the event, and you see them nod, and they smile, and then boom. Like I'll give you an example. I remember one of the first breakfast parties I did, I came up with an idea with the decorator to do these plats, you know, with the colors coming over forming squares with the fabric. And that was immaculately done. And then after that, it was just a thing. Everybody started doing it, even Blueprint. Just, no, I'm not. But what do you do when that happens? I mean, first and foremost, I mean, everybody says it. You, Terry? What's the common phrase? Imitation.
It's the best form of flattery.
I say F that.
I don't like that. I don't like that. Why do you say that? Like,
but at the end of the day, it is what it is. A good idea is a good idea. That's the reason why there's not one supermarket, there's not one bank, and there's not one carnival band, right? People will follow, right? And you just have to be mature. Don't take it personal, right? There's no set one way to deal with this. You can go back and just go back in the kitchen and cook up something else, which unfortunately, that is what I always do, because I like to stay original, and I think people appreciate that. They don't like to see no event being similar, look the same way. But when I do that again, somebody comes, they say, all right, so you have to dig again. The other way to deal with it is, one, you just have to go hard, do it bigger, better, and own that concept. At the end of the day, it's like, all right, there are now many breakfast parties. But when somebody says to you, you're going breakfast party, they're not going to say, which breakfast party? They're going to say yes, because they know it's one sunrise, one breakfast party, right? So I'm just saying all of that. I mean, big up all the other events, right? But you just have to go hard. Own whatever you're doing. If you're doing decor and somebody doing the plaques, just do it to the immense or the highest peak you can go so that somebody say, yo, let me just leave that idea out the way. Let me leave the plot out the way. Just do it and own it.
I think the reason why he said F that, and the reason why I actually don't agree, I don't subscribe to that quote, and we even said it backstage, like ignorance is bliss is a quote I do not use, I do not subscribe to, is the fact that we get the fact that you probably went to a party in this particular example and you see something that is amazing, it's new, it's innovative, and you're like, wow, I would love to have that in my space. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by something that you see another creative pull off. And I can understand you wanting to create something like it because you like it, and that's a good feeling. But I think as a creative, it's okay to be inspired by it, but not duplicate it. Like, not replicate it, but then ask yourself, all right, I like that what he did with it, but all right, what if I were to do some, okay, what's going on here? Can you guys still, okay. Yeah. So the idea is to look at it and be inspired by what he did, but then to now take your creative genius and add it onto what he has done to create something absolutely new to you. And so that is the reason why I think PP and I are just like, no, we don't like that whole imitation is flattery. No. Take it, be inspired by it, but make it your own.
Or better.
Or better.
No, I'm right there with Terry. I was just going to say something similar. That sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel if you have an idea. Sometimes you just want to make it better.
Tweak it.
So a lot of times, I mean, I can think of several examples, but for example, let's just say, I don't know, carnival stockings. If you have a way to make it better, I have this issue, I was talking about it recently, where sometimes girls have an issue with the stocking band. Maybe you want to do a different thing with the band, a different design, just to make it better. Stockings are not new. Stockings is something that girls have been wearing since what became Phillip, right? But maybe you have an idea to make it better, and you can do that. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, you just need to, like she says, you don't have to duplicate product or whatever it is, or rip off somebody's idea, but just do it and make it better.
Do you think that affects customer loyalty though? If I'm the first one to introduce this to the market, you think it affects the customer loyalty anyway versus someone who, I see your idea, I'm inspired by it, I reinvent it. How does that affect customer loyalty in that regard?
To be honest, at the end of the day, it's really an ego thing, I think, for promoters and pride in which you put it to work. But at the end of the day, I don't think, and guys, you can answer me, I don't think patrons care who did it first, it's who did it the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But to add to that, I definitely think when you walk away with a greater user experience or consumer experience, that's the brand you're going to remember. It really doesn't matter. But I also think as a consumer, we tend to be loyal to, well, I can only speak for myself, but I prefer brands that are truly loyal to themselves. I do not like creatives or persons who rip off other people's brands and sell them. So for example, Fashion Nova. I see it on social media all the time. I mean, some of the most recognizable Instagram models and other celebrities, you know, endorse it, but then yet still I see a lot of small businesses saying, and they have their proof saying, but I designed this blouse, I designed this jeans, I designed this, and then this big corporation is just ripping me off. Now, from a person as a consumer, I will never purchase from Fashion Nova. I will never do it. I am more likely to go to that small business who right now is not benefiting in any way because a bigger corporation is doing it. So if I think that there's a creative or just a person or an individual organization that is benefiting off of the intellectual property of someone else as a loyalty issue for me, I'm not going to spend my money with them. It's just not going to happen.
I see you shaking your head. You want to?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, yes,
and Phillip. Oh, are you agreeing? Okay, but I know in this competitive market, some people will have the notion that all publicity is good publicity. Once you get your brand and your name, all publicity is good publicity, right? So someone have the notion that once I get it out there, I start marketing, I start pushing. It doesn't matter how it gets out there or what I do, as long as I get some publicity, it works for me and it works in my favor.
Well, I guess if you're the Kardashians, maybe that would work for you because they don't care whether it's good, bad, or ridiculous. That publicity kind of works for them. But alas, well, I'm not the Kardashians. I don't know if people consider themselves.
Well, unfortunately, that's the way of the world right now. That's the new thing. Who can leak a video, a nude video, and all of a sudden you have 500,000 followers. Unfortunately, that's what happens. And I mean, Terri, you made a point about the dress and who made it first. But again, you may have maybe 70% of our audience who is like, I don't care, as long as I think you put it.
Sure, depends on them. Depends on
so
them.
at the end of the day, I think I don't like the way people are doing it now by social media in order to make their brand popular. But it is what it is. It's happening. And do you conform or do you change it and, or come up with a better medium of putting your brand out?
That it kind of depends on what industry you're in, because obviously bad publicity is directly linked to, I guess, low patronage of your products or whatever it is. And if somebody tell you there was a cockroach in the food at X restaurants, best believe we are not going to X restaurants to buy their food. So I guess it kind of depends on what industry you're in. Everybody wants to know that their product or their service is the best and has the best experience, even if you're not the biggest in terms of numbers. So I'm just saying that sometimes it's about the experience of the person and not necessarily how many people are running and flocking to the hype, right? Okay.
True. You should have a better experience if you have 40 persons.
No, we have
rather than 4,000,
best
right?
experience. Best experience.
So to add to this conversation, I think at the end of the day, guys, it goes back, and I will always say it because it's the core of what I believe in, is what I stand for. It goes back to what your brand is, what your brand represents, and what your long-term goal is. The race for me is not always for the swift. So yeah, somebody might leak something and they get a bad publicity and then get a hype, and then after that they get a whole heap of followers, and then when followers running and then they realize that's it. You realize that there's a plateau, and that's why I think even when you see the hype, you have to be able to step away from the noise and really analyze and evaluate what is going on. For me, I don't feel like I should have to leave nothing to get a hype to. If my brand speaks for itself, and I don't mind getting the quality over the quantity. So if, thank you. So my brand might not be hype and it might not be this, but listen, if I have this amount of people and they believe in what I believe in and they like what I believe in, and I don't have to change to suit them, fine. But I think you have to figure out what you are about and the long term, what does this look like? Because some people try the bad publicity and they think they know what they're bargaining for, and when they look, they realize that it is not all it is panned out to be. So I think go back to what your core value is and figure out whether you think that is going to be the best thing for your brand, and is it going to give you longevity in the industry that you want to be in.
So you're saying longevity then is of more importance than just a hype, a little one-off?
I don't think people, I don't think they're creating brands just for the now. And every time we look at them, they're always reinventing because they want to continue to have this longevity and this long-term goal in the space. I mean, if we're just doing things for the now, then no one would really care.
Right.
I have to ask you though, as we're talking about competing brands, guerrilla marketing. What would you say is your view on that? Since we have them going at each other, boy. Guerrilla marketing.
That's not really an area of specialty for me and Exodus. Maybe Kandi can speak.
I've never actually done any kind of ambush marketing or anything like that. Have we? No, I don't think so.
Do you see a need for it though, in terms of a competition? Do you see a need for it?
Honestly, yeah.
So
especially for guerrilla marketing, where we're concerned, I think we do a lot of similar marketing in terms of other carnivals around the region and stuff like that. I've never had to show up at an event with flags and things and just ambush an event. I've never had to do it. I've never done that. Anyways, I've never had the need to guerrilla market or anything like that. I don't know.
You think it's necessary though?
I don't think it's.
I guess it depends on the industry that you're in.
I think it depends on the scale that you're in. If you're a confident brand, you will know that all your marketing tools, all your different applications that you're putting the brand at the work, and you're already seeing a number. I don't think it's necessary, but this is us talking about our brands that have passed the test already. We may not have the perspective of somebody that maybe doesn't have the money, the injection to put in to make things happen.
But
so
at some point in time, you never have the money. Like at some point in time, you started off as a regular creative, exactly, and you didn't find it necessary, as you rightfully said, you never found it necessary to figure out guerrilla marketing. What you did was you worked on your craft.
There's change, right, and that is the right way. But you have the younger generation that sees Kandi, they don't realize the 10 years that Kandi has been visualizing everything, has been putting work in her craft. But they see, and it's natural. Younger people now, they're going to sit and I say, yo, I want to be Kandi tomorrow. And it's natural. It's ambition, maybe not managed well, but it's ambition. So what they'll do, they'll say, listen, try this having the biggest party in Trinidad. I am going to go there with my soccer flag or whatever the party's name. And that is how they get their brand out. And I can't say, if I was in their position, no, I wouldn't try it, but I've never done that.
Okay. I think creators should be creative. I think that's what makes you guys different. That's what makes you different from the corporate and the economic and the financial people. The fact of the matter is that we've seen amazing brands take a campaign that another brand is doing, flip it with wit and just a sheer genius, and then all of a sudden they run with a campaign, which I don't consider to be guerrilla campaign. I think that is just being very smart and, you know, riding a wave that is happening right now. I have a problem though with persons taking their brand, setting up like a booth and thing outside somebody games. Then you know that I think in terms of ethics, it just from an ethics standpoint, no, but I think if you're a creative, you should be able to look at that opportunity and say, all right, how can I take this, make it relevant, and flip it in the space,
all right,
without being disrespectful.
Okay. We have any questions from the audience? We have a couple.
All of them are for people.
Hello, good.
Oh, they have mics.
The mic not working.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Terri-Karelle Reid. One of the finalists for Indiggo. But my question is for PP. I mean, firstly, I have a lot of respect for you as a businessman and promoter. Mostly because I overheard a conversation one time, a good while ago. They were saying that you've been in the business for a while, like even from early days when you used to have events and not a lot of people came. And it touches back to your point now that a lot of event promoters, they just get up and think that they can just jump up and keep up event like that and get the buzz. So my thing to you, or my question is, you've been doing this for so long, and you've probably gotten events where one person come and all those things. What kept you, you know, for all those years saying, yeah man, I need to keep at this, to know you can, I see you guys promote an event 2 weeks in advance and still get a crowd. Like how do you know, what kept you going for so long?
Okay, well obviously success drives you. If you're not successful in what you're doing, you won't have the energy to do the next event. But before the success was the passion. And for me, it was just second nature. I love partying, I love people, I love crowd around me, I love the noise, the vibe. So my birthday parties was like a typical bottle party. And everybody, it would start out 200 persons, then it would go up to like 800 persons. And it was a good friend of mine who had the party at her house. She's like, P, next year, you must charge these people. And I said, oh, birthday? She said, yes, people will pay. And that's what we did. And then I actually made a profit. And then I said, all right, that was cool. And then there was a summer that, none of the summer jobs that I had the previous years before, they wanted to hire me back because I was a menace. So I said, what we're gonna do? And then myself and a group of like-minded friends, we kept a small party, and I made money that summer. I didn't have to work the whole summer. I had my FUBU jeans that is good, you know, so, I mean, way back when. But I mean, I did have, the first event I did, I made money. The second one, I think we got ambitious and we picked a far venue and we lost. And I think we started out as 5, and after that event, it went to 3. And then the next event I made money, and it was 3 of us, so my share was bigger, so it worked out for me, right? But an event is like any other business. You have to have a sale day. I mean, I don't like the outcomes, but there are some people who have to come. You understand? Complimentary is a part of creating the hype, having the right people there, having them talk about the event. And that is when it came from passion. It came when I had that failure. I said, all right, what we did wrong? Let us do it this way. We went again and again. And lucky for me, after college, I didn't go corporate. I worked with my family business, an engineering firm. But they gave me the latitude to, okay, while I'm at work, I can skip out half day and go and look at a venue, or if I don't have any money to put up, I write the company check, give a deposit, put it back in the company account. But I was lucky. Not a lot of people had the opportunity that I have, but the opportunity came about from passion and not giving up. Keep going and being practical. And there were some good ideas that I thought I had. I did it one time, and I said, here, well, let us chop this down, let us cut this down. And it's about time management. What you put the most of your time in. There's Kimani Robinson said this to me like 4 years ago in a meeting. He said, Phillip, remember, the same 8 hours you have on a small idea is the same 8 hours you put in a big idea. Think big. And I guess that was what brought me to where I am now. And still, I'm trying to reach to the next level.
Carla, I don't know if you noticed when he was speaking, I don't know if you guys took pictures when Dr. Leckman was speaking, I'm going to say very quickly. And he had the circles that had like some overlapping. And so when you heard PB speak a while ago, he spoke about doing what he loved. Then the other one was, it was something that he was good at. And a friend of his kind of said, yo, you are good at that. And then the other circle was, yo, do something that you can be paid for. And when he actually tried it out, he realized that because he had created this experience for people, they were not willing to buy it. And then the other circle was, give people what they need. Now, some people might say, well, party is not necessarily a need. But we no longer look at the entertainment industry as just a simple party. It is an experience. It is something different. It is something that people yearn for after them work, them go school, them frost out, them tired. It's a space to just let go. And so really what has fueled his success and the reason why he was able to do it over and over is because those 4 circles, in my opinion, they all overlap, and he had his...
And there are a lot of persons, they wouldn't even respond to you or anything like that. I was in a space once, and I heard a veteran musician saying that, oh, these young people, they just want to come and take away our work from us and try and copy what we're doing. And to me, that's just very selfish. So I wonder, like, you guys get people who ask you to be their mentors. Don't you support them because you think that, oh, they're going to come and take whatever I'm doing and then people won't remember about me or whatever. So how do you guys face a situation like that as it pertains to mentorship and supporting younger generations?
There are a couple of factors that are playing. We can't always anticipate or imagine or assume that everyone is going to have some form of maturity. You have to understand that people, regardless of how big they are, celebrities, public figures, whatever you want to call them, a lot of them are still very immature, a lot of them are not emotionally intelligent, and quite frankly, a lot of them are still insecure. So people being like, oh my God, this person thinks that we're going to copy. Yeah, because they're insecure, not because they're at a particular level. It means that they have everything together. So there's a factor that is working there. Those people really do exist. But I have to say that there's also another part that is left up to you guys. Sending out an IG message, sending out a direct message, because I get them on a daily. People will ask me, questions, and if I have the time, I will respond. But there a lot of the work really falls on you. A lot of people come and they want a mentor, or can you help me do this, which is very different from somebody saying, hey, Terri-Karelle, you know, I do this. So true story. I was sitting down on set going to host some live stream for, I think, TV Punch or whatever. And a guy came to me and said, hey, Terri-Karelle, you know, I do videography, I can also do graphic designing, XYZ, you know, if ever you need something like that, you know, I'd really love the opportunity to work with you. Understand, his approach was not, Terry, can you mentor me? Terry, can we have a relationship? Terry, can you give me tips? He was confident within himself, even as a youngster, to say, yo, this is my trade, and you may not be in it for now, but can I give you my car? True story. I spoke at the Norman Manley Law School last week Tuesday about the importance of languages. And you know who I called? Do you know who I called? I called that gentleman. And I said, I remember you, Mr. Wisdom. I remember you reaching out to me, and guess what? I'm going to give you the opportunity. I don't know what he's going to do, but I'm going to give you the opportunity. And it's because of how he approached me. A lot of the time creatives believe, or people, youngsters believe like, oh, so you have this little thing, and when you approach us, we're just going to be like, sure. We're just going to stop everything we're doing. We're just going to make all the time to answer all of your very important questions. Life does not work that way. Therefore, what I would suggest is like the guy who approached me is, if you're coming to Kandi and you think that you have something that you can do, your approach really gives us the idea of really, do we waste our time? Because some people just want waste time. But do you really want to do? And the guy came, he gave me pictures, he gave me videos, and I said, all right, you know, any event that I'm doing that I'm speaking, you will be my videographer. Done. Right now, he's making his money, I'm getting content, and you're happy. So it isn't that people won't do it in his face. The question is, how are you approaching us with the craft that you want us to take seriously? Well, where's the value? Exactly. So don't come begging, say, listen, this is what I do, and I'd love the opportunity to discuss further. If you're not serious about it, we won't be. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that's just my example.
It's a very hard one, because how do you know who to choose when you're getting... I'm very practical. We don't have time to answer everybody on Instagram, else we won't do any work. Very practical. And it's a good question you have, what's your name? Glenessa. But how would you solve that? Put yourself in my shoe with 60 persons messaging you, hey, I want to do that, what you're doing. Can you mentor me? How would you choose the person? It's not easy, right? But for example, from the dream perspective, we have dream interns, same with Sun Nation. And I can be happy to say, my lead project manager now for Sun Nation was a dream intern, and that's Dr. Samaji's son. Hassan is my right hand, and he came in from an internship program. Again, the question is, you're going to be thinking, how do I get in an internship? I don't even know how I met Hassan. But he just got there. It's just one of those things, you know. I wish I had the perfect answer to give for that, but you just have to remain driven, try to get yourself within the circles. You can't want to be in entertainment and you're at home watching cable and on Instagram and then you say, hey, I want to do parties. No, I need to say, no, I know this girl, I always hear about the place. It's who she. And then she say, yo, you know what, this and that. And I say, okay. And what I do, I depend on the young people. Yeah, I love to stay trendy and stay young, so I attach myself to the young people. So Hassan will say, yo Hassan, which girl is the hypest girl up at you know? I need her on the committee. And he said, yo, I'm using her on my committee. He said, share her, man. And he give me her, and then I said, all right, who is the newest? Like, I'll have graphic artists, and then when I use them, Kandi may say, who do your graphic? And then I say, China. And Kandi start using them, and I said, Kandi, who do your graphic? The China. All of a sudden, I can't get China to the graphic. So what I have to do, I have to go back in the pot again. And I said, Hassan, give me a good graphic artist from you who cheap, but it's good. And then he say, oh, this guy. And then this guy develops, steps up, and then he's the next big thing. So it's really, that's a good question, but I can't honestly say I have the answer off the top. You have to be mature and say, boy, even though I don't answer you right away, you have to say, boy, listen, this person have 15,000 followers. Maybe he has like 50 people asking this on a daily basis. Nothing to do, but you just have to get yourself in the environment. You understand? And similar to Terry's example, that guy was persistent. Persistent like Jamelia. I never wanted to, I don't like talking to him. But Jamelia pressured me for about 3 weeks straight. Thank you, Jamelia, and I'm here. So you have to be persistent. And again, passion drives persistence, right?
And build up your catalog as creatives. Build up your catalog. The whole idea of, oh, I don't want to put things on Instagram because someone's going to come and steal it. Don't send us a DM saying that you're an amazing graphic designer and then when I go on your page, guess what?
Nothing.
There is absolutely nothing that is a complete and direct example or reflection of the work you claim to do. So if you are creative, the best thing that you could possibly do is to go on churning out something that you can now show somebody, because that essentially is your resume. So if you try to get the attention of first, then you finally get our attention, and then we have nothing to go based off of. Really, I mean, that's just going to be a failure on your part. We won't take you seriously. So where you can, I would also say, build up a catalog whenever you can.
All right.